All right, y'all, what is going on? Back with another video. Hopefully you guys are having a fantastic day. It is Friday, the weekend is here, so you know what that means. I'm gonna try to get back on the live streams, and we're gonna do a couple of live streams and actually talk about some gaming. And I don't know if I'm gonna be able to finish up Tomb Raider Definitive Edition, but I may. It just depends on, because I got some time. But nevertheless, hopefully you guys are having a great day. If you're out there working on this Friday, that's great. If you're grinding, that's awesome. If you're maintaining, that's even better. Keep up the good work. I want to talk about World War II, Call of Duty World War II. That game is, well, it has a lot of problems. It was on Game Pass because, Call of Duty is supposed to be going to Game Pass, whatever the case may be. But it was taken down, especially on the PC side of things. PC Game Pass, it was taken down because apparently that Call of Duty has a very bad or terrible security issue, and it had to be taken offline. Apparently that this security risk is like an RCE, remote control. I can't remember what it's called, but it's called an RCE risk, where whoever's playing against you can get into the server and hijack your PC. They can put malware, they can get all your content, they can download everything off your computer, basically take over your computer remotely. And I think it's like remote controlled executable or something like that. And that's kind of crazy. It's one of the reasons why I don't really play online like that, not just with Call of Duty, but in general. Because, I don't have a fear of it happening, but it can happen. Those type of things, it is what it is. And that's a really, really big deal. So Microsoft had to take the game offline, claiming that it's an issue, and they're going to have to investigate it, and rightfully so. So that's what they're dealing with. Also, you have other Call of Duties that are like on Steam are not necessarily safe to play. I think there's maybe like one or two of the Call of Duties are safe to play. And if you do play them, you want to play them on other servers, not the official servers. So, yeah. One of the things I actually noticed, I've noticed that a lot of people haven't really been talking about Call of Duty, playing online in general. I know these games are a little bit older. Call of Duty, Black Ops 6 is like the thing now, but a lot of people don't really talk about Call of Duty like that, even though that there's a good bit of people that still be on those games. But the fact that this security issue is a thing, I don't really see many talking about the security issue itself. A lot of people started talking about it that I've seen was since the Call of Duty World War II situation when it got the Game Pass. Now, from what I hear, that also is that you can still play the games offline. You play the campaign, which I love Call of Duty campaigns. I've always loved it ever since the Call of Duty 2 on Xbox 360. I just thought it was amazing, and it's always been great to play. And I think if you're on consoles, you're good. I don't think they can do this on console where they can, hack your console or whatever. But if you're on PC, it's almost like the Wild Wild West, which is one of the reasons why, and I hate to say it like this, it's one of the reasons why the people that are against Stop Killing Games are, making this case that, having private servers or dealing with servers that are kind of open on PC, they basically have like the wherewithal to actually go into other people's, IP addresses or other people's computers and get away with, or not get away, but do things like this to people. I know Apex Legends, and I think the first Titanfall, these are games that had like, the same type of issues. Or they had an issue where it was something of that similar to that. But yeah, but still it remains. So when you're talking about private servers or whatever, which, I'm all for private servers, these are the type of things you got to deal with. I want people to have the freedom to do what they want with their games. And I think that's absolutely phenomenal. But at the same time, this is stuff you got to deal with. This stuff you got to worry about. Like I said, for me, I don't really like playing online in general, console, PC, or whatever. It's just not. I'm an offline gamer. I love playing games offline and just enjoy myself playing that way. And it's not because of stuff like this. It's just in general. I just don't like dealing with the online community when it comes to actually, gaming. It's just, to me, it's just not fun. But to each his own. Some people think it is. Some people think it's great. Some people enjoy themselves. And if you have fun, have at it. I mean, it's really, I believe it's really one of the best ways to play. It's just not my preference, because playing with others is always fun, and enjoying yourself and talking to, others while you're playing is great. But then again, you got bad actors like this, where it's got to the point where the entire, game has been taken down. Some games are hacked beyond belief, to the point where they're just not fun to play. And it's not just a Call of Duty game or like Apex Legends or Titanfall or anything like that. I mean, you got games out here like that are just like really, really bad. And I can't name them off the top of my head, but I've known of some games where it's just not safe to play online. And that's that's kind of like the downside of this. But I feel at the end of the day, you know what you're getting into. We have private servers. The private servers are usually regulated. This is why they're saying like play on private servers on the Call of Duties nowadays. But the official servers are they're just terrible. You can get your computer completely, taken from you, dealing with this type of stuff. It's pretty bad. And if you use your computer for more than gaming, then you really have an issue. And that's one thing, like, I am with my old PC. I had an issue with like this before, but it wasn't necessarily tied to gaming. It's just that my old PC was used for more than gaming, and I think I downloaded something malicious on accident. And it didn't do nothing crazy. I think it just got a few of my passwords, and they tried to change, they got a few of my passwords, and they changed like a couple of my accounts. Like, I remember like my Activision Blizzard account, which I don't really use on PC like that. That was changed, and I just never tried to retrieve it. I was like, you know what, they got it. There's nothing on there. I think it may be like one game that was given to me for free on that account, and none of my payment stuff was on there or anything like that. So I just never pursued it. But so I know the Activision Blizzard, and I think my EA Origins account was compromised. So I changed that, and now I got a 2-step factor authorization, which I highly recommend you do that. Do 2-step verification, authenticator or whatever. So it'll come to your phone, it'll go to your email or anything like that if anything is changed, but that's a security, thing there. But when you're dealing with stuff like this, an RCE could take over your entire computer. So it doesn't really matter, if you have this issue. I mean, maybe if you do have 2-step verification, because you'll get that notification. But when they take all the other stuff out of your computer, or they can take control of it, that's a scary situation. That's really scary. So when you're dealing with Call of Duty World War II, if you have the game already, if it's been taken from you, ask for refunds if you bought it. If you have it on Game Pass, it is what it is. There's not much you can do with that. But just be mindful when you're playing these games online, especially the Call of Duty games. Like, you can look up on the internet, there's probably like 6, I ain't gonna say 6, damn near all of the Call of Duties that are jacked up. I think Black Ops 3 is like the only one that may be safe. But you're talking about Modern Warfare's, the all the other Black Ops, Call of Duty Ghost, all that stuff is, it's kind of crazy right now. So y'all check that stuff out. Be careful out there when you're gaming. If you like this content, hit the like button, share this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I really appreciate you guys. I will be going live probably tonight of this recording, and definitely will be going live on Saturday, where we'll be playing more of Tomb Raider. We're going to try to finish that up, and or get far enough in it where we'll knock it out in in no time. And hopefully you guys will come through and chat on the first live, and watch me game on the second one. All right, y'all, I'm out here. I'm out of here. I got to get on the road. I'll see you on the next one. All right, y'all, I'm out. Peace.